Welcome to the second episode of Concord's 2019-20 FA Trophy Review in the build-up to the Builder-based FA Trophy Final. Today we are joined by Lewis Pack, James Roach and Danny Green. Thank you for joining me today. How is everyone?
Yeah, good, mate.
Very good, yeah.
Today we are focusing on the first round proper when we faced Maidstone United away. The Beach Boys went 2-0 down but came back to win with Danny scoring the winning goal. So firstly, Roachy, can you explain to the people at home what your role is at the club?
I'm a first team coach over at the club. Obviously, we've got Scopes as the manager, Lee Mitchell as the assistant manager, and then myself as the coach. Realistically, we all get involved. We all get on the pitch and we all do a bit of coaching. We all kind of, try and add our bits to our sessions, to our practices. We all chip in with the ideas. My expertise in that sense is maybe like practice design or session design. That's something that I really like. I enjoy doing, is putting together the practices to try and, work with the team that we've got and try and implement them with the team that we've got. So, first team coach, and, game day, we all add, again, any kind of information. So the good thing about the club, it's sort of not all one person does a specific job. It's we all kind of, jump in and we give our opinions and our ideas, and then it's, Scopes takes them on board and uses them as his will. But so that's my role at the club.
How happy are both of you to be part of a team that is heading to Wembley for a final? Must be a great achievement for you.
Yeah, I mean, I worked in academy football up until like 3 or 4 years ago, and I left to go into like non-league to try and chase a dream or to try and achieve something within non-league football and even then league football after that. And so within 3 years, I've got the opportunity to walk out at Wembley with the team that we've worked with for the last couple of years, and it's one of them things that there's always going to be opportunities to win leagues or to get promoted, etc. But to actually play a game or to get a game at Wembley is something that probably will never happen again. You can never say never, but the realism is that it's going to be a once in a lifetime opportunity for a lot of staff and players. And obviously it's just a massive disappointment that the fans can't be there. But yeah, that's what I set out to achieve in possible, and definitely reaching Wembley is up there with that.
Danny, you have some good memories at Wembley. Obviously, I don't know if anyone's heard you mention it, but always like playing at Wembley.
Yeah, I don't really talk about it too much, to be fair. I don't think I've mentioned it today, but no, yeah, I've played there before, League Two playoff final. So I did all right. I scored and I got man of the match. So it was a good day. It was a good day. But as a player, as a kid, it was one of those that I just wanted to play at Wembley when I was a kid. Watch FA Cup, watch Man United, growing up, and they were always usually in an FA Cup final. So always at Wembley. But yeah, as a dream to play at Wembley, and yeah, I've done it. So it's the players will be looking forward to it.
Is it, Greeny, for you then, obviously, because you're obviously a senior figure within our squad now, obviously taking on the coach role this year as well, when obviously we was playing. What will you do to try and obviously calm the younger players' nerves down? Obviously, you'll probably play quite a key role in that, I'd imagine, from obviously having the experience of being there.
Yeah, I think you got experience in there. You got Lee Mitchell as well, who's been there a few times, and Tyrone Sterling. He doesn't mention it a lot, to be fair to him, but he's been there before and he's played at Wembley as well. So you've got experience in there that know the surroundings, and we've got young players in there, and I'm sure they'll handle it. It's a great achievement. They'll be chomping at the bit to get there. So it'll be a good day.
Yeah.
We beat Slough in the qualifier and got drawn Maidstone away. Roachy, what are your expectations for the competition with such a difficult tie?
Obviously, when we went to Maidstone, I think it was the last 32, wasn't it, that we went to Maidstone, and away as well. And Maidstone being a full-time club, we always knew that our expectations were obviously just to put in the best performance we possibly could. And if we was able to come away with a win, then that'd be great. The game itself, we were 2-0 down within 20 minutes. And so straight away after 20 minutes, you're kind of thinking to yourself, well, this could either go one way where we end up getting tonked, or the boys have got to show some resilience. They've got to kind of try and pull themselves together and get themselves back into the game. And fortunately, we scored, I think, 34th minute. I think Kit scored to make it 2-1. So it made half-time a lot easier. But yeah, the expectations were just to put in the best performance and not regret anything that we did there, knowing that, you know, they were a full-time outfit and, you know, it was an away game. But also it was quite early on in the competition as well. Yeah, so there weren't as many pressures as obviously as we started reaching the further rounds. The pressures were, well, go out, put in a good performance, and we come away with a result. We do so.
Roachy, what was it like on the bench at 2-0? Because with the way Maidstone on, obviously us as a committee, we go behind the goal, and and for that first half, we was in the main stand, and it was like very, very loud, very boisterous, and we were getting so much stick. Because you notice that I know on the bench you try obviously zone things out, but could you feel the atmosphere there with them turning up, a bit of a joyous atmosphere at the time?
I can't really, I could, because obviously the game was now nearly 18 months ago. It makes it difficult to, and there's been so many other games since that have really kind of had massive impact on the club, as in like the semi-finals, etc., etc. I remember being 2-0 down, probably, you know, we obviously trying to figure out what the issues are, you know, what is it that we're doing wrong, where is it that areas that we're being opened up, and where, you know, Maidstone are a threat. I can't really, you know, it's difficult to try and remember exactly what we kind of worked to get it out. I think, I mean, the goal come from, I think Kresh had a shot from outside the box. It was parried and Kit pounced on it, which was, you know, a good time for us to score with, you know, going into the half time. It was probably, you know, we were just probably trying to solve a problem. Like, you know, that when you go 2-0 down, you start looking at systems, you start looking at shape, you know, is there something that we can do to change it? You know, more importantly, you don't want to concede. If you go 3-0 down at half time and you're going, okay, you know, the tie's as good as over. So you try making sure that you don't concede, and then to get that goal just meant that it kind of were, okay, we can kind of not relax, but we know that we can go at half time and we can talk about, you know, how we're going to now get ourselves back into the game, instead of, you know, looking at it thinking, how can we not concede more goals, etc., etc. We were on that front foot as we started going into the half, and it's more impetus on how we can get ourselves back into the game rather than, you know, losing it, if you think of it in that way.
Yeah, well, I think that people do forget, and it's going to feel like, if Blanchy listens to this, it can feel like slag Blanchy off again. But what people forget, he missed a massive chance at 2-0 as well, didn't he? And that, you know, that, well, you say that proves out on the front foot we were. That was about 5 minutes before the goal, he misses a superb chance. We could have been, you know, we had a really poor start, but we could have been 2-2 by half time, which sets it up even better.
He made some good saves as well in the first period. I remember there's one that he picked out. So Hagee had some work to do. So without him, maybe then we could have been 3 or 4 down. But fortunately, you know, he was able to keep them out, and it kept it at 2-0. And like I say, there were chances, and, you know, the second half, obviously we kind of, you know, got back into the game. Noobs, obviously, lovely ball in from Corley into Noobs, and Noobs playing Lamar. And then the end is history, isn't it? The free kick at the end is Pollock's great goal.
Remove him.
So, but yeah, it's an emotional game. There's always emotions, but it's very hard, especially since the game was so long ago, in respect that it was 18 months ago, is to think back and think what it was like. It's difficult.
So, as you said, you got a vital goal just before half time, bring you right back into the game. Was the message? I think you said the message at half time was just keep yourself in the game. Granny, what, with your experience, how can you put that into the players, being at a difficult stadium?
What, we're going to Maidstone? Maidstone
yeah.
Still, yeah. So I think we were actually playing quite well in the game. I know we conceded 2 goals, but I think we actually played quite well. I think we had a few chances in the game so we come in at half time 2-1 down, but I think we thought that we were playing some reasonably good stuff at the time. So as soon as you get that goal and you're going at half time, you know that as the players, as a coaching staff, there's the next goal is vital to get, and luckily we got it. But but I thought we actually played quite well in that game in the first half. We had some chances. I know Maidstone are clinical at home, and they got a good back in as well. So, at half time it was more just the next goal is vital. The next goal, you're right back in the game, and then it's basically winning. The next goal wins the game, really, and that's what happened to us.
You came on in the 75th minute with the score at 2-1. What were you told by the management team to produce or bring to the game?
He said go on and score a free kick, so I was like, all right. I think Scopesy just said just go out there and try and make a difference. And I think we went out there. I think I come on in the number 10 role. I think, and just tried to just get on the ball as much as I could. I think when I come on, I picked up the ball in good little areas. I think, and then we won a free kick. I think Kit won the free kick. I think, and he actually come off for that free kick as well. So he had to come to the side. And there was it was a nice little angle and found a good little angle, and we had runners going across the ball and it found its way into the far corner, so it was a touch really.
Did Greeny, obviously, because I remember this quite well, is obviously you used to play for John Steele, didn't you? He was at Dagenham with him, weren't you, at the playoff final?
Yeah, he's my granddaddy is John Steele.
Yeah, but because I remember him saying in his post-match interview, he was really unhappy with his keeper because he was standing on the touchline knowing he was going to shoot from that free kick.
Yeah, he's one of them. I played for Stilly for 2 seasons, and he used to have a go at me for shooting from miles away. I think every free kick I used to shoot from. This is when I was young and fearless, and it was I used to shoot from silly angles, and sometimes it'd pay off, and sometimes it wouldn't pay off, but. I think he said to me after the game, he said, I knew you were going to shoot from there. And I was like, well, I'm not crossing it. I'm trying to find that back stick.
Was it a cross that just found its way into the back stick?
Yeah, it's one of them. I think the best, Frank Lampard was the best at it. I think it's one of those where a cross and he aims for the back stick. It's always, you get that angle, you've got to aim for that back stick. Goalie can't come. As soon as someone gets a nick, Pollock reckons he got a touch on it, no chance. But
I was right behind it.
No, you're going top left.
No. Well, years ago I probably would have gone top left, but I think we had to guarantee to get in the next round. So
yeah, I must have. The committee had snuck around at that point, stood behind the goal, and I was behind it, like dead behind it. We all knew where he was going to shoot, and I can vouch for that. It weren't Pollock's touch. He didn't get nowhere near it. Because the keeper just flapped it.
The goalie has to come out and either take everything, because he's kind of come out and then he's took that step back. As soon as he takes that step back, it's game over. Really, I think the goalie has to come and take everything, because if he doesn't, someone's going to get a nick, or he doesn't, it leaves in, it goes in, and that's what happened. So it's it was a good area to hit. Corridor of uncertainty. That's what we call it. Yeah.
See, now obviously this now created a problem, and obviously you'll know where I'm with this, Greeny. Obviously you as well, Roachy. Where we'd just gone 3-2. Obviously before your free kick, we'd gone 3-2. You'd come on into an attacking role. I can't remember who you come on for, but I think he's one of the holding midfielders.
I think it was
Blanchy, there you go. And you're obviously going to play more advanced than Blanchy. Then obviously we put Ryan Gondo on as well, didn't we, for a defender?
Yep.
Literally as you scored your free kick. So we're there 4-2-4, trying to hold out for a lead away at Maidstone. So it was a bit of, how was that trying to readjust from trying to chase a game to then trying to hold out on a game with an attacking formation? How does that change your mindset?
Well, obviously you've got, like you said, you suddenly got attacking players on the pitch to try and get yourself back in a game. And before you know it, you're leading. And in an ideal world, then you'd want to take them off and get some defensive players on, but we'd use all our subs. You just got to hope that the players can, be mature enough to manage the game, and understand the position, understand that, what was it, the 86th minute that you scored?
Yeah, I think so. We only had 2 minutes to wait to try and kill the game.
So you just got to hope that players, I know, we're Crash there being Crash, trying to get them to understand that, you need to manage the game, you need to slow the game down. In that scenario, you're just trying to say, do you know what? Hopefully the players are smart enough to manage it, with people like Greeny on the pitch who can also, give his experience and say, look, this is, just slow the game down, etc., etc. And we had people like Corley, who's able to kind of do that and take control in them situations. It's just knowing the situation. that, you've got 3 minutes to go odd. Just manage the game, buy some time if you can, and just, it's very easy to say, right, we're just going to sit behind the ball and, we're just going to, but even that, even with 2 or 3 minutes to go, can sometimes be detrimental because you just invite it. So you could even say sometimes it's not the worst thing that you've got attacking players on there, because you're still in an attacking mode. They still want to get forward. They still want to go and try and attack, which means that you're not all of a sudden going to be sitting deep and just accepting the pressure. And inevitably, 9 times out of 10, when you invite pressure, the other team get opportunities and potentially score. So it's not the worst thing. Sometimes you just got to ask them to manage it. If it goes out to a throw on, how can they, no point trying to take quick throw-ons, or, just manage the game, manage the clock. And obviously we did that to get ourselves into the next round.
Yeah, so obviously that's your role in changing instantly as well, Green. It's obviously your experience. You've probably been asked a lot of times to go from going into a role, changing the duty. Is it then your role in like a leadership position to get the younger boys who are not used to it to do it as well? Just to buy into it.
In that game, I actually went back in with a centre midfield role with Kresh. I think I actually sat into a 2 with Kresh. So it was kind of almost me and Kresh, we had to sit there, we had to absorb a little bit of pressure. But I think, like Roach just said, I think we had quite a few attacking players on the pitch. I think we had Lamar on the pitch as well. And sometimes I think it works better for you if you have them kind of players on the pitch that, even if they win the ball in higher areas, carry the ball carriers, you know what I mean, that can take you up the pitch and kill more time. So yeah, I think sometimes when you do get that lead and you've got attacking players on the pitch, if you want to bring defensive-minded players on, like I said, you're going to absorb pressure, and that's when it only takes a second to score a goal now. So it's one of those where if you absorb too much pressure, something's going to give. So I think it was quite positive that we had the attacking players on at the time to try and take us up the pitch. And I don't think we conceded the chance after we scored. I don't think that I can remember. I think it was just trying to keep it away from our box, really. So
you bring Greeny on, we had the quality, like trying to get balls into the box, etc. Getting on the ball, you had that, the delivery from free kicks. But then also, if we did get ahead and it was 2-2 and was going, okay, we've got to see the game out or see the 90 out. At least we got experience in Greeny on the pitch. So you getting Greeny on there maybe helps in all them situations.
Perfect substitution, I think.
There you go.
Well, we came back in the second game against Slough. We came back against Maidstone. Using that momentum for them 2 games going into Bath, it must have been really vital for the team.
It gives belief. And it's it's one of those things that that, okay, you don't always want to be going behind. You don't want to always be creating an uphill battle and in games, but it gives you a belief that, okay, if we do go 1-0 behind, that we have got the ability, we have got the character to get ourselves back in the game, and we have got the character to go on and win the games. So it definitely gives you that belief, knowing that it was a team like Maidstone that wasn't going to be an easy game, and we could have easily just crumbled at going 2-0 down, but we didn't, and we got ourselves back in the game. We had the players, we had some great attacking players on the pitch in the Maidstone game. So it just gives you that momentum going into the Bath, knowing that we've beaten 2 teams from our league. Yeah, we was able to compete with them. And again, coming up against Bath, obviously we went to Bath and we got the result there, which is not an easy place to go. And so, yeah, it's just, you've got to carry over the momentum. You've got to carry over the belief that you're able to compete, especially if you go down. And that's about character at the end of the day. Character of the players, character of the staff, character of everyone within the club. If you've got that, then you know that you're always going to have a chance.
Obviously, Greeny, touching back on the Slough game, you sort of did, Euan touched on a similar pattern. Obviously, in the Slough game, I know we spoke about it last week, but you've come on behind the game again, coming onto the 10 role, made a massive difference. Did you, when you come on against Maidstone, did you think back to the Slough game, thinking, right, I've made a difference before, let's just say the same role, and I'll say, as Roach said, you get belief. I'll take it. Did you take that into the Maidstone game, the belief of Slough?
Yeah, I think we took the belief, especially me as a player. Always, when I come on the pitch, I always believe I can make something happen, or always get a chance to do something in the game positive. So yeah, I think going on that, the boys were positive, and I thought as soon as I come on the pitch, I try to feel like I will create a chance or get a chance at least. And sometimes that's all you need in the Maidstone game, especially one chance, one goal, and you're through to the next round. And the Slough game, I think I scored a penalty in that game. And we just built pressure. I think sometimes you put a bit more of an attacking player on in the 10 role, it just creates confusion for the other team. And like it works the other way. So like Roach said, the Slough game, we were creating more pressure for Slough's defenders and pushing them back more. And I think Crash got the winner in that game, didn't he? So he got a header. Was it a header? The last goal?
No, he's tapping in the back post from Dakari's run.
Yeah, that's it. We put them under a lot of pressure, and then so I think it does build confidence. And like I say, especially for me, coming on in 10 role, more attacking roles, I feel like I can create something in them roles.
Yeah, well, you nearly slipped over for that penalty, though, didn't you? I remember you telling me that. The Slough one was a bit of a slip.
4G pitches. What are you used to?
Yeah, that was obviously another thing as well. If you look at it, that like the season we're talking about, which is obviously 18 months ago, the club had a very poor record on 3G. But then we had the Oxford game in the first game that season, and 2 games in the trophy on 3G pitches where we come through. Roach, is there anything you can say about the group that why we was able to improve our record on that? And obviously, tough places to go, teams with 3G, especially.
I mean, obviously, we have the fortunate we train on 3G once a week, which is always a benefit. So, we get that opportunity to be on that kind of surface and train on that. So, that could be, it just makes it a bit more easier. It could be that maybe we had some more players that are a bit more kind of technical players, like the ball at the feet. We've got like Blanchy, wants the ball, wants to play. And even our forwards like Noobs, Dakari, they want the ball at feet, and Lamar, they're all ball carriers. So the fact that you've got them players in the team probably suits playing on a 4G, etc., because they can get the ball on the floor. So you're not relying on more like aerial balls or trying to go forward so quick. You can get the ball down and play. So I think the fact that we had some really good technical players within the group at that time meant that we was able to compete more on the 4Gs, and the fact that we trained on a 4G once a week always helps. So it's sometimes you say, well, if we trained at home on the grass on a Tuesday, then trained on a 4G on a third, you got the best of both worlds, mate. So you can say, look, we can practice and adapt for different games. If we know we're playing on 3G at the weekend, then on the Thursday session, that you've got that there. So it could be many factors, and it's only ever going to be subjective that we say, well, it could have been this, could have been that. It could have just been plain fortune that the games we played in on the 3G that that we come away with a result. Who knows? But I do think maybe the factors were that we had more technical players within the group, and that we had the opportunity to train on a surface each week. So maybe that.
Yeah, that's good.
And the fact that obviously in the FA Trophy, we played them 2 games on the Astro, and we done okay on them.
Yeah, I was saying there are places to go as well, aren't they? As well, Maidstone and Slough, tough places.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Could you feel the players' confidence or the change rooms getting more belief after every round?
Yeah, of course. Obviously, the further you go into the competition, you're getting mixed feelings. You get nerves, and you get emotion, and you get the the excitement. And as we start, every time the draw was coming out, we weren't kind of going, okay, that's a good draw for us. But the draw was favourable. We still had to beat the teams that we played, and they were all good teams. It wasn't like there was any easy games that come out there. But some of the draws were favourable. If we took the semi-final, we could say that was a favourable draw for us, playing house own rather than Notts County and Harrogate. So you could argue, yes, every time that we got through, then the belief starts happening. And why shouldn't it be? You're getting one game closer to Wembley each time. You're seeing other teams get knocked out, and you think, okay, maybe this is a good opportunity for us if we can kind of be fortunate with a draw and keep people fit and be positive around the club and that, and maybe not chase the dream too much. Also, be realistic that we've still got a long way to go. But yeah, with every game you win, you're closer to that final goal, and the belief starts getting increasing. But then so does the nerves, so does the anxiety. So you have to make sure that you're able to manage those within the groups as well. I mean, obviously the semi-final, the anxiety and nerves that will go through the players is huge compared to the game against Maidstone. So the closer you get, the belief gets more, but also so do all the other emotions coming into it. And that's the ones that you really, really got to manage. That's when it becomes difficult.
You mentioned the draw there, Roach. Scopesy said it last week, and I don't think people may realise this. Every round, technically, we got lower down the pyramid. Every game, if you look at it, Slough were like second in the league, then Maidstone were fourth or fifth, Bath were eighth, then you're looking at Leamington were 14th. So we're talking, we've literally gone from apart from being National League, don't get me wrong, but the teams we had actually got lower down the pyramid as it went on.
But we started with 3 very strong teams in our league.
Yeah, and that's what people got to remember.
Very strong teams.
After the Bath game, there was just a little change of a sense of a different confidence. It was like, wow, the actual W word, the Wembley word, was getting a little bit mentioned, and I think we went down there, didn't we, Roach? We went down there to play Bath, and did he get called off?
Yeah.
So we had to return there, and it was almost like a little bit more spice to that game. It was a tough place to go to Bath anyway to play, and go down there and have the game called off and have to come back again. There was a little bit more spice, a little bit more added. We've got to beat these. We've got to try and show it down their throat a little bit. And I just felt that game, we just had a little bit more bite to us, a little bit more. There was more riding on it. And then the celebrations after the game was brilliant in the Bath. I think after that Bath game, I think the boys had a little sense to think we could actually do something here if the draw was kind to us, and it was. So.
Yeah, and obviously that belief grows as well, Greeny, from what Roachy just said there. We played 3 very strong teams from our division. And all of them away. We beat all of them away from home.
I think you look at them, Slough away, you think it's winnable. Maidstone away is winnable, but the Bath is a tough place to go. I've played there a few times throughout my career as a younger, and it's a tough place to go. And we played really well that day. So when you get past that one, that's when I thought we could do something here.
Yeah, no, and that's I know we'll touch on it more later on as we go through the shows, but it's these 3 games that really set it up, I felt, especially like I say, the Maidstone one, going away to Maidstone 2-0 down, your character in the Slough game, then going away to Bath. I think these 3 games, especially from a fan committee point of view, I think shaped our run, because you ended up getting the belief, you had adversity, you had everything going in the first 3 games that just sort of set us up, didn't it? Just to go, right, this is Concord Rangers, we're going to do this. And it's good to hear that that's sort of, it started to, go through the changing room, but not even in a like an arrogant, overexcited way. It was a we're doing this to get there, and we can.
I don't think we didn't have that personality in that.
No.
Arrogant. After that Bath game, we were a tight group anyway. After that Bath game, we had loan players like Nathan as well, and they were right up for it. They were banging on the change room doors on the way in, and it was. Sometimes you get loan players in, and it doesn't mean as much to them, or they're just worried about their parent club. But with people like Nathan, and I think was Wellesley there as well. Wellesley as well. So we had some really good loan players as well that we had that season, and they really gelled well with the whole team. So it was a special group really to get to Wembley. This is a special group. So
yeah.
Green, you've taken on more coaching role this season. Last season you were playing, scored 2 goals. Are you enjoying your coaching role at the moment? It's a new thing for you.
Yeah, well, when I was coaching, I coach now for a little academy team, and but yeah, the coaching side of it is what I really enjoy, and what I've got like a real passion for it now, and the boys are a really good group of boys, and I can learn good stuff off Roachy and Minchell and Scopesy as well. So yeah, I did enjoy the coaching role, and it's something that I want to look forward to in the future as well.
Are you going to have much influence this for the final?
I don't know. I'm not totally sure. I think you leave it to Scopesy, Roachy, and Minchell. I think they've trained with the boys recently as well, so they'll know what the best fit is. And the whole COVID situation is really really disrupted the whole gloss of it. It's going to be a massive achievement for the club to get there, and it's a huge achievement. But the COVID thing has taken a big shine off of it a little bit for me, and it's just one of those things that I think the club want to get it done and enjoy the day, and then draw a line under it and say, look at what Concord Rangers done. Special group of players, special group of staff, got to Wembley. If we win it, great. If not, what a day! What a day for the club. So I think that's the kind of attitude that it is at the moment. I think with it.
What are your top 3 games so far the FA Trophy?
Obviously, I'll go for the Howe's own game, which is the semi-final. With the whole kind of COVID stuff, we had to come into the game off the back of basically playing pre-season, so there was an uphill challenge there already just to get that game played to get through to that final game. So obviously that's going to be the one that the biggest one out of the whole run, really. You want to add one, Greenie? You going one?
I'll go Maidstone, just because I got the winner in it, so it's a bit of a special game for me. But actual performance-wise from the club, I will say Bath, because it's a tough place to go, and we scored 2 really good goals in that game. Roach scored his header, and Noobs' finish at the end was just a bit of class that he possessed. So I'd say Bath / Maidstone.
Lou, you can have one.
Yeah, well, I didn't. Yeah, to be fair, I didn't actually say. I can't remember if I said anything last week or not. But if I'm honest, you've both probably nailed my 2 favourite games because the Bath one with Greenie when you say Bath, because Scopes and Hagee, neither of them mentioned Hales Owen, and I think that's down to the fan side of it. I think I mentioned it last week, obviously, but I think Bath for the performance, the adversity. We got one over Jerry Gill, which is never the worst thing in the world.
Minch's tracksuit bottoms as well, wasn't it? That was the one as well, wasn't it? Yeah. That's another favourite one. I like that one. Yeah,
he couldn't get. He was trying to unzip him, trying to get off. Brilliant. The Bath game, it will always stick with me. That Bath game for many reasons, and I'll say, I think it's Green. It mentioned it earlier that the whole club had a bite because of what happened the 2 weeks previous, and then I know there's not fans, and I know there was nothing like that. You cannot overlook Howells Owen. We had 2 weeks to prepare against a team that had been preparing for 4 or 5 weeks. We'd had 3 games. They'd had 6, 7 games. The occasion, you had new players have to come in, and you're trying to. All right, admittedly, 4 of the boys who come in knew some of the players anyway. Obviously, Tyrone, Wally, Blackie, Tosan. They'd all played with Greenie and, for example, but you still got to implement what they do with the players we had. And that's the frustration is COVID got in the way of Howells Owen being the biggest game in the club's history so far. And you've both nailed it for me. And Howells Owen will always stick for me for, all right, Isaiah's is a bit selfish. But yeah, Howells Owen and Bath for me. 100%.
It's the Kari's goal as well against... was it Royston?
Royston. Yeah, Royston, yeah. Second touch. He used his first touch when it slid it under the keeper from Mr. Scott Hire.
You forget about Scotty High as well. Scotty High, I've done a podcast with him a couple of weeks ago, and what a lad he is. He's just a really class player. And we had Kit as well, and Kit made an impact in the season as well. I think he was sometimes a tiny bit hit and miss with his performances, but he had a real impact. And we did have quality players in that group. So yeah.
Well, you mentioned Scott there, Greenie, and obviously for that Royston game we're talking about there, he'd only just come back in on loan, so he was obviously there for the Slough game. We had him for a month, and he went back to Huddersfield, didn't he, and got involved in the first team mix. And he joined on the Friday night before the original Royston game, didn't he? And we luckily didn't have to announce the team sheet, so Royston still weren't aware of him. But you touched on it, Greenie. The loan boys, he epitomised the boys we had in on loan last year. He bought into it. Spoke to him after the game. He'd come on the championship, been involved in championship games literally just before that. Couldn't wait to be back with us, being involved in that Royston game. And I think that's credit to everyone involved, Drury, Scopesy, Roach, and all yous that got the, from a playing point of view, you've incorporated the loan players into, and you've helped them buy into the system. And obviously management have identified the right characters to bring into that group as well. Scott High is just the epitome of what we had. And yeah, he can't be forgotten as part of that run. He only played 2 games, but what a role he played in them 2 games. So.
Thank you for joining me today. It's been really enjoyable. I'm sure we speak plenty more before the game. Great answers as usual. Thank you, Lewis, for co-hosting as well. Hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you for joining.
Cheers, Green. Cheers, Roach.
Pleasure, gents.